Hi, everyone. So here's my video response. I'm going to go through the questions and try to answer them because it feels more organized in my head. So how do I feel about working with suicidal and homicidal clients? I feel that right now would be very hard and potentially challenging and triggering for me due to several reasons. One of them is my deep sense of empathy and sensitivity, especially for those who suffer or are marginalized. I think the intense emotional experiences and energy of suicidal and homicidal clients might resonate strongly with my own experience of loss and introspection, potentially making it difficult to maintain professional detachment. Another challenging for me while doing this clients is due to my own grief and loss. So my own journey through the loss of my mother has significantly shaped my current perspective. And I think that encountering clients who are at the brink of life and death might trigger some memories of my grief and loss, and which can lead to an emotional overwhelm for me. My spirituality and my transpersonal approach. So I have an inclination towards spiritual and transpersonal approaches in therapy, which makes me value very deep, meaningful connections and transformations with clients. However, navigating the legal and ethical responsibilities in such high risk situations might feel like conflict with my desire to approach the healing from a more holistic and compassionate angle. So what do I think will be most difficult or triggering for me? A lot of things. One of them, the emotional overwhelm, like I said before, um, the situations might bring up strong emotional responses from me, particularly if they remind me of my own losses, or if I feel a strong urge to save or protect them. Countertransference, because of my emotional response to a client situation, it could influence my therapeutic approach in ways that might not always align with professional boundaries or best practices. The big one too is balancing ethics and empathy, because I think it's very challenging for me to balance my empathetic nature with the need to adhere to strictly to legal and ethical guidelines. So, for example, when to breach confidentiality and when to initiate a 5150 hold. How will I know what to do in the situations? Meaning, what have I learned about these clinical issues and how to apply the legal and ethical principles to them in my work? So now what I have to do. So in this course, we have learned specific protocols and legal obligations related to working with clients at risk of suicide or harm to others. And this includes confidentiality and its exceptions. So there's specific exceptions to confidentiality, such ones the clients at risk of harming themselves or others, which requires an ethical duty to protect. So 5150 and 5250 holds. So my understanding is that I'm responsible for initiating the process, like by talking to the client and having a plan and having somebody for them to call, that we can have a plan of how to proceed and when to involve those who can actually invoke the hold. So psychiatrists, police officers is very critical to know, like when to initiate this process. So the duty to protect, the legal obligation to warn potential victims or the authorities if a client possesses an imminent danger to others. So this involves assessing the client's intent, plan, means, and will, and taking appropriate steps based on these assessments. Always, it's a huge one, especially in the beginning, consultation and supervision. So have access to supervisors and colleagues to consult on difficult cases, and support systems will be invaluable in helping navigate these complex situations. I think important too is to have a cultural sensitivity. So consider how cultural factors influence clients' expression of distress. So to know the difference if they're really in distress or it's just a cultural expression of distress. And another one, it's big too, self-care and reflection. So it's essential to recognize emotional response and seek support when necessary. I think being in touch with my body, knowing how I'm reacting, and then seek support. And by that is regular supervision, personal therapy, and self-care practices, I think will be key to maintaining my well-being while working with high-risk clients. So still have a lot to learn, and I'm grateful for this opportunity and looking forward to having this experience. Thank you.